coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday. Now at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. Economic issues are my number one thing. Border issues are my number one thing. DEI issues are my number one thing. We had Don Trump Jr. yesterday, and we finish up with Laura Trump today. Laura, Wayne Allyn, how are you? We got a big guest and a great interview today with Dr. Oz with us right now.
Good to see you. I like your tie, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Great to see you. Always great to have you on the show.
Wayne Allyn Root, happy to see you again on the cutting edge of things on your show, whether it's medical, political, you name it, you're on top of it. So just great to hear that. Great to hear that.
So wonderful to be with you again, Wayne. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you tonight.
It's great to see you, Wayne. How you been?
Anytime, Wayne. Great to see you.
Hey, Wayne. Great to see you, brother.
Hey, Wayne. Good to be with you.
Wayne, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Lots going on.
Doing great, Wayne. Glad to be here.
Well, thanks, Wayne. I don't see myself as a hero. I'm just trying to keep this community safe.
This is The War Zone, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. 2.5 million unique daily readers. Also on Rumble under Wayne Root, Wayne Allyn Root, or Warzone. Then on weekends, we got our big show, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice TV. Well, everybody else is giving opinions. I give solutions. And some of them Trump takes, some of them he doesn't. I wish he'd take all of them. This is the Wayne Stream Media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Wayne Stream Media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face mother trucker information. The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. My new book is out, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. You can only get it at Amazon. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. Finally, all of their unsung achievements in one book, and it's 100 plus blank pages. Okay, get it? It's a gag gift, and it even says on the front, warning, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. And the greatest gag gift ever for conservatives, Republicans, MAGA patriots, and anyone born in the USA. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. 100 blank pages. Go get 10 copies, 20 copies, give it out to all your friends so they get the message that illegal immigrants have not done anything to make America great. And by the way, understand my theory here. Legal immigrants have done lots of things to make America great. Our whole country is legal immigrants. My grandparents were legal immigrants. Your grandparents were legal immigrants. Your great-grandparents were legal immigrants. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks.
Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root. The root is on fire. Welcome. Whoa, what kind of noise was that? That was a weird noise. Welcome to my podcast, Warzone Live. That was one of the weirdest noises I ever heard. That was strange. I wrote a commentary this morning. I think you want to hear it because I'm all over the news. That's all anyone's talking about, in especially liberal media, but every media. They're all talking about my national security emergency and my interview with President Trump from Monday. And the title is Liberal Media Goes Insane with Rage Over My Idea for National Security Emergency for Elections. My response, scream and attack all you want. You can't stop it. It's foolproof. Here are the facts. What a wild, exhilarating madhouse I've been living for the past 3 days. It all started on Monday with my 17th interview with President Donald J. Trump. That resulted in a national liberal Democrat meltdown and a global media firestorm. And it all centered on one part of my interview. I pitched President Trump on the idea of declaring a national security emergency for elections to bypass the Senate and install voter photo ID, proof of citizenship, and end mail-in ballots, ballot harvesting, and ballot drop boxes. That, of course, drove Democrat politicians and the liberal media into fits of rage. And as far as liberal voters, I received thousands of messages on email and social media, all with the same brilliant, articulate message: F you, F your idea, F Trump, go F yourself. And of course, liberal morons couldn't help themselves. They also threw in a few death threats into the mix. Liberals are such rational, well-mannered, well-spoken people, aren't they? And they have a grasp of facts in their arguments. All joking aside, this reaction is just more proof that liberals are brain-dead, ignorant, foul-mouthed, uncouth, violent, low-life, mentally ill losers of society. And what a diverse vocabulary they possess. It only includes one word: F, 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 and F. How sweet, how open-minded, how inclusive, how all-American. I also read more than a few columns claiming my idea won't work, including blogs by quote-unquote so-called legal experts. Here is my factual response. You can huff and puff and try to blow my house down. You can curse up a storm. You can stomp your feet like a 5-year-old. You can call me names. You can claim my idea won't work. You can rage all you want on CNN and MS Now. Should be called MS Commie Traders. But it won't help, because my idea is unstoppable. It is foolproof. And since Democrats can't win elections without cheating and rigging and stealing and committing voter fraud on a massive scale, this means we win the midterms and you lose. Here are the facts. Read them and weep. First, under the National Emergencies Act, remember that name, National Emergencies Act, it is a fact that any president has a right to declare a national emergency. You might not like it. It might send you into fits of rage, but you can't stop it. It's the law. Second, once a president declares a national security emergency, only Congress can overturn it, and even then with a very high bar, which I would call impossible. A joint resolution is necessary, which means they need a 2/3 majority in both houses. Good luck. It's not going to happen. And if by miracle it did happen, then the joint resolution would go to the president's desk where he would veto it. And then they need another vote to override the veto. Good luck. It's not going to happen. Finally, perhaps most importantly, because Democrats love to sue, The courts can't help you. This has already been decided. In 1983, the Supreme Court ruled in INS versus Chadha that it requires a 2/3 majority vote in both houses to overturn a national security emergency. There is no other way to overturn a national security emergency declaration. No court in the land can overturn a Supreme Court decision, and it's settled. It's the law since 1983. You can't overturn a Supreme Court decision. Go look it up. Google it. Here's what Google says. The National Emergency Framework is thanks in large part to a 1983 Supreme Court decision that effectively neutered any mechanism for terminating emergency declarations. In 1985, Congress amended the National Emergency Authorization. The law now requires termination only via joint resolution. And the upshot is presidents now enjoy broad power to wield emergency authority however they please, unless and until Congress can assemble a veto-proof supermajority to stop them. Simple facts. Want more proof? Has this situation ever happened in modern history? Yup, once. And I was involved in that one too. In 2019, Congress repeatedly refused to give President Trump the funding to build the wall. I came up with this wild idea of having the president declare a national security emergency for the border. That would allow him to bypass the Senate, grab the funding for the Pentagon budget, and fund the wall. So I wrote the commentary with my creative idea, sent it directly to President Trump, and also had a best friend of the president hand my commentary to him at Mar-a-Lago. And within days, Trump declared a national security emergency for the border and funded the wall without Congress's help. This was Exhibit A for why my idea cannot be overturned today. Number one, there was never a legal court challenge by Democrats in 2019. Why do you think that is? If they could have, they would have. The Supreme Court already ruled there is no court challenge possible. And number two, Congress freaked at their loss of power when Trump did that, and they voted to overturn Trump's NEA, his National Emergency Authorization. Trump vetoed their rejection of his NEA, and they were not able to achieve the 2/3 vote to override his veto, and he got the funding and built the wall. My creative idea allowed President Trump to fund and build the wall. You're welcome. Now, this same idea, restructured for elections, will allow President Trump to secure elections and prevent Democrats from rigging, cheating, and stealing another election. We will win the midterms, and President Trump will have 2 more years to make America great again. My strategy is foolproof. It's unstoppable. The Supreme Court made it so. The 2019 Trump NEA and resulting attempt to overturn it proves it. Democrats could not challenge it in court, and they could not muster the 2/3 vote in both houses of Congress. Trump won then. He will win this time around, too. If President Trump implements my idea, Democrats are dead in the water. They're up the creek without a paddle. They can stand on their heads until they turn blue, but there's nothing they can do to stop it. And that is why Democrats and the liberal media are hysterical with rage and hate for Wayne Allyn Root. If President Trump does it, we win the midterms. They lose. End of story. President Trump, as Nike says, just do it. All right, there you have it. How much time we have left in this segment? Okay. So here's an article, by the way. There was one overnight in Breitbart. There was one overnight in USA Today. There was one overnight in Newsweek. There was one in newspapers around the world. Australia, they're talking about it. Europe, they're talking about it. Ireland, they're talking about it. England, they're talking about it. They're all talking about the interview with Wayne Root and President Donald J. Trump and my idea for a national security emergency. And here's the headline of Breitbart. Trump on potential emergency declaration for midterms. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. It's funny because when we did the interview, I could swear he said after that, Batar, stay tuned. I could swear he said that, but evidently none of them heard that because nobody put that. So I don't know. Yeah, did that get cut out somehow? I swear he said, stranger things have happened, stay tuned. But Breitbart says, President Trump said stranger things have happened when it was suggested he could declare a national security emergency for elections. During an interview that aired on Real America Voices, America Speaks, Wayne Allyn Root posed the idea of declaring a national security emergency for the midterm elections, which Root said would allow for voter ID requirements at the ballot box. Root pointed to the 1983 Supreme Court ruling of Immigration and Naturalization Service versus Chadha as the reason the president would have the right to declare a national emergency. Trump's response was brief but noteworthy. Let me just say, stranger things have happened, okay? I'll leave it at that. So, and by the way, you know what no one else is saying? Not a single person is saying. They decide what they want to grab from your interview, right? I prefaced all this by saying the SAVE Act isn't going to pass. Stop dreaming. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting money. Stop wasting energy. The SAVE Act won't pass. The Senate won't even give you daylight savings time. They're not passing the SAVE Act, Mr. President. So therefore, you need my national security emergency declaration, because you can bypass the Senate and get all the same things. And as I said, it's the SAVE Act on steroids. Nobody's quoting that either. SAVE Act on steroids. We got time. We got time here. I'm going to ramble for a little bit. I also think it's important to mention that during my interview, it's the first time anywhere, any place, that Trump gave away his strategy for Iran. It was a three-pronged strategy. I was the one who pointed out his new strategy has changed to starving Iran, causing economic collapse. No oil, nothing being sold, no commerce. They're starving to death, and the people are freaking and starving, and the army is starving and not getting paid. They're all going to quit. And President Trump said, no, that's not true. We didn't change it. It's just a three-pronged attack, and that's one of the prongs. But today, Trump calls Iran all talk and no action and touts the wall of steel U.S. Navy blockade as more oil flows out of the Strait of Hormuz, meaning not Iranian oil, but oil for the rest of the world is flowing again. President Trump claimed Wednesday the U.S. has complete control of the strait, one day after Energy Secretary Chris Wright confirmed increasing oil exports from the crucial waterway as Iran's economy continues to freefall. The U.S. has total control of the Strait of Hormuz. I think we will keep it, he said. Our naval blockade is being called by everyone a wall of steel, and there's nothing they can do about it. The U.S. renewed its blockade on Iranian ports last month, with the president opting to hit Tehran with economic pressure to force the Islamic Republic to sue for peace. And meanwhile, Wright announced on X Tuesday that the 7-day average of oil leaving the strait was up to almost 9 million barrels a day. When combined with the additional 5 to 7 million barrels per day leaving the region via newly upgraded pipelines and export facilities, total oil flows are currently averaging approximately 15 million barrels per day. On Sunday alone, over 20 million barrels, he said, left the Arabian Gulf region, which is actually above the pre-Iran conflict average. So if they're telling the truth, I'm assuming the Trump administration actually is telling the truth, and Energy Secretary Chris Wright is telling the truth, and President Donald J. Trump is telling the truth. If all of that is true, we've got Iran by the balls. I'll finish this segment with just one more story that just blew my mind. You know, it's a political show, but I bring up all kinds of interesting things: business, sports, gossip, you name it. And do you remember Chris Watts? He's the family killer, right? He killed his wife and his 2 kids, I believe. What an insane maniac. And he's found love behind bars and is already planning to get married. He's 41 and he's in a relationship with Lizzie Henderson, 39. The smitten Ohio realtor has already relocated to Wisconsin to be closer to her murderous, imprisoned beau. She confirms she's in a relationship with Watts, admitting it could be seen as weird, and giving few details on how she met the prisoner, who claims to be a born-again Christian. So let me get this straight. He murdered his wife and his 2 children, but he's a born-again Christian, and women want to marry him. How things began is between me, him, and God, she told the Daily Mail. She applied to change her name to Lizzie Watts last September. Oh, my God, are these mentally ill people? Again, it's an opinion show, my opinion. Taking the last name of a man who murdered his pregnant wife. I didn't even realize that. Shannon, 34, and their daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3. And the realtor was photographed proudly wearing a ring on her wedding finger, and has submitted a marriage request to prison officials. Asked how she felt about Watts' unthinkable crimes, the smitten new love said, he knows how I feel. I don't know all the people involved, but I would want to respect them. She visited Watts 20 times in 2025, spent Christmas Day with him in 2024, was spotted having a steamy makeout session with the mass murderer just one day after the 7th anniversary of the killings. I just don't understand. How is a mass murderer? So he killed a wife and her child in her belly and his 2 children. So he killed 4 people. That makes him a mass murderer. And you're allowed to have, what, conjugal visits and make out with a girl in prison? I've never heard of such a thing. It's so bizarre what goes on in our world today. And she was seen canoodling during a visit last August by Lisa Johnson, who was visiting a loved one. He was clutching a Bible as he spoke with Henderson, who was googly-eyed and excited to take a photo with him. Inmates are prohibited from any physical contact with loved ones till the end of the visit, when they're allowed 10 seconds to embrace, while conjugal visits are not allowed. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So she's going to marry him, even though she's never had sex with him. She just made out with him a couple times in a filthy prison. You know, the world is full of mentally ill people. Boy, that takes the cake. They hugged the whole 10 yards while they were kissing. Adding the pair also said they loved each other. Watts is serving 5 consecutive life sentences. Makes a lot of sense to marry someone who's serving 5 consecutive life sentences for the annihilation of his family. So he strangled his influencer wife, Shannon, who was 15 weeks pregnant with the couple's first son, after the pair had sex. First he had sex with her, then he strangled her. Then he put her body in the trunk of his car, drove his 2 girls an hour outside of town to an oil field where he worked before smothering them with their blankets and disposing of all 3 bodies in an oil well. Wow. He felt trapped by his marriage and wanted to start a new life with his colleague, Nicole Kissinger, with whom he was having an affair. And he's had a string of pen pal girlfriends and female admirers behind bars. I don't mean to say that women are stupid, but man, there are some women that are really stupid. My God, is it possible to be this stupid? How is it even possible? Who raised you? Wolves? What kind of retarded people want to marry a man serving 5 consecutive life terms for wiping out his family, including 2 cute little girls? He smothered them and dumped them in a well. Man, these are sick people. And you got to wonder, what do they vote, right? Democrat. These are not Republicans, trust me. There's no Republicans marrying 5-term life consecutive term prisoners in jail for murdering their whole family. What a bunch of strange people, man. I can't believe. Is this America? Is this really America? Who had that woman? But was it really a person that had her, or was it an animal that had her? Because she's a little savage. Again, an opinion show, just my opinion. All right, so VRA is the sponsor of this segment of the show. This is an alert for middle-class Americans. Investing in stocks isn't just for rich people anymore. Kip Herridge left the highest levels of success on Wall Street to help mom-and-pop investors 23 years ago with his amazing investment newsletter, VRA. His goal was to help little guy and gal, average middle-class American investors, hit returns like the rich guys do with hedge funds, except even better, even higher, and he did it. Since then, his top-performing recommendations have beaten the market just under 90% of the time, 19 out of 22 years, and meanwhile, Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. But Kip's not just beating the market, he's often beating the market by a mile. His daily newsletter portfolio was up 35% last year, over 27% in 2024, and over 50% in 2023. No one could beat those numbers. I'm a witness. I've read his email newsletter every morning for 23 years. Kip is my personal financial advisor. Let him prove to you how good he is for free. Exclusively, only for my fans, Kip's offering his daily VRA letter absolutely free for 2 weeks. Join now at VRAinsider.com. You have no risk, 100% free for 2 weeks. You'll follow him, 5 days a week. Wall Street is open, so 10 straight days. And the results are one of a kind. Now you can win like the wealthy investors on Wall Street for a fraction of the cost. And that's only if you decide to join after 2 weeks. Get your free 2-week membership at VRAinsider.com. And Kip made me money again today. Market's been incredible the last couple of weeks. Thank you, Kip Herridge. VRAinsider.com. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. This is the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit called War Zone Live. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. Great to be with you. My website, rootforamerica.com, and you can email me anytime, wayneroot@gmail.com. You can call me at 1-800-347-ROOT. My next show is called America Speaks. It's on Real America's Voice TV, and we film it every day at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and you can call in live, 800-347-ROOT, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, basically 1.5 hours from now. 800-347-ROOT. Call, and if you don't have time to wait until 6 o'clock Eastern to call, then just leave a voicemail, and we'll play your voicemail on the air. 800-347-ROOT. Be right back. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root for Vertical Research Advisory, VRA. Kip Herridge's one-of-a-kind global investment and economic newsletter. Listen up! Trump is in charge. The glory days are here.
Growth rates are only going to grow from here.
This is your 4-year window to make a fortune and set up your retirement for the rest of your life. Kip wins whether the markets are up or down, whether the economy is up or down.
We set our folks up for long-term success.
For 21 years, Kip's been a friend, as well as my personal financial advisor. During that time, he's beaten the markets 86% of the time, while the average Wall Street money manager loses the market 90% of the time. Now Kip is predicting a new golden age for the economy. Let Kip prove it to you for free. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. Try it for 2 weeks. I know you'll stay for life. Join now at VRAinsider.com. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, I just sent that response, my commentary to the president, and hopefully he will declare a national security emergency. It's time to do it. It's funny because I was on Steve Bannon's show back in, it must have been before I left for vacation. It was probably in June. But it's possible it was when I got back, so possible it was like around July 8th or 9th. And I said he's not declaring it yet. When did President Trump do that speech to the nation? He did an address to the nation. I think it was late June. I think it was right before I left. So I was on Bannon's show, and he said, do you think he's going to do it? And I said, no, he's not doing it that night. He's waiting until the end of August or the beginning of September. And so far, I'm right. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be right. He might never do it. He's got a lot of people around him that are rhinos. A lot of people around him that are rhinos. A lot of people around him that just don't get it. Like, that would say things like, oh, that's going to stir up trouble. You don't want that. There'll be riots in the streets. They'll call you Hitler. Right now, the odds are almost 90% we're going to lose the midterm and Trump's presidency is over. So this is what you call an emergency. You got nothing to lose. Might as well do it. Because you're going to lose and the election's over and therefore you're over. And therefore the country's over. So if you think like, oh, wow, it won't sound good. Who gives a flying F what it sounds like? All that matters is we know they steal elections. We know they're going to try and steal this one. They probably stole Minnesota and Wisconsin last night. They steal. It's all they know how to do is rob and rig and cheat and steal. So you got to stop them, despite what people think. Who are the people that will riot and steal? The same people. The same people that have sent me emails. And thank God, not text. They don't know my cell phone. They've sent me emails and social media posts by the hundreds, if not thousands. And all of them say, F you, F this, F that, F Trump, F you, F your ideas. They don't know how to say anything else. They're vicious, vile scumbags. So, of course, they're going to be mad Who cares? Making them mad is a badge of honor. Making them mad is how you make America great again. Let's hope they get so mad that they all leave the country. Matter of fact, give them money, give them airfare to go to Canada. Let Canada have them all. Good luck to Canada. I mean, I would fly him to Gaza personally and then push him out of the plane and it'd just be a coin toss whether I gave him a parachute or not. But if I gave him a parachute, I'd say good luck in Gaza, be on the side of the government, or protest like you do in America and watch what happens. You know, F around and find out what happens. When you're against the government, any Middle Eastern nation or any African nation, you know, the place where you want all the immigrants to come from, in any one of those countries, if you're against the government, they'll throw you off a building, or they'll hang you off a light post, or they'll stone you in the ground when you're buried up to your neck in dirt and rocks, and they'll throw bricks at your face till you're dead, or they'll pour acid in your little girl's face. Or don't forget ISIS. They like to put people in cages and set the cages on fire and watch and laugh as people burn to death. You're just dealing with such bad people that how can you possibly care whether they're upset or not? They're going to beat us by cheating unless you do something dramatic. So you gotta pull a rabbit from a hat. Former Southern Poverty Law Center CFO, her name is Heidi Barrick, arrested on fraud charges for secretly funneling payments to white supremacist groups. Now, normally you'd say, is that really a big story? Yeah, it's a gigantic story. Southern Poverty Law Center was the biggest censorship group in the history of the United States. All they ever wanted to do was put pressure on the Wayne Roots of the world, the Mike Lindells of the world, all the important conservative voices to shut us up, make sure we could never speak again, and to slander us and call us racists and Islamophobes and whatever other words they could, conjure up, whatever lies and fraud they could conjure up to destroy our reputations and make sure nobody bought from us anymore, make sure no one sponsored my shows anymore. And these people at Southern Poverty Law Center, they made a living by getting people roused up and excited, right? And the way they did that is, look, it's the Ku Klux Klan. But it turned out they were paying the Ku Klux Klan. They wanted the Ku Klux Klan to be popular and to be visible and to be marching all over the place with their wonderful white hoods, all proud to be KKK members. And I can't figure out whether they were paying them so that they would do all this, or whether they were paying actors to act like the Ku Klux Klan. I'm not sure if there even is a Ku Klux Klan anymore. I'm not sure if there really are white supremacists out there, Nazis out there hiding in the woods and hiding under tree branches. I don't think there are very many left in America, so they just paid actors to act like it. When they gave money to these groups, the group went out and found people to wear a hood and act like it was a big protest. Do you understand? The whole nation's a scam. That's all they do is steal and scam. The entire left, steal and scam. And last story before we go to a break. Actually, two last stories before we go to break. So, illegal alien with lengthy rap sheet brutally murders a California man one day after this woke judge releases him. Innocent American citizen dead at the hands of an illegal alien who had a long criminal record, thanks in no small part to a far-left California judge. A man was found fatally stabbed outside his home in Martinez. Firefighters responded too late. Victim was identified 68-year-old Todd Stewart. Authorities identified 36-year-old Marcos Irarte Valdez as the person who murdered him, arrested him at his home. Surveillance video released by the police, shared with local news outlets, shows the moment that Irarte Valdez stabbed Stewart to death on his own lawn. Truly horrifying. He entered this country illegally from Venezuela. He also holds Spanish citizenship. Should never have been allowed into the country to begin with. But the news even gets more infuriating because he was connected to several burglary cases back in April, released on pre-trial release. Then on August 4th, police rearrested this guy, Irarte Valdez, for violating a home detention monitoring rule. That was still not enough to keep him behind bars because Contra Costa Superior Court Judge Nichelle Holmes appointed by Gavin Newsom, of course, decided to release this guy Valdez on his own reconnaissance on August 5th. And Stewart was killed the next day thanks to this bleeding heart judicial hack. Do you understand? First, we let him in the country. The Bidens let him in the country. Biden wasn't the real president. He was brain dead. It was Obama let him in the country. And then a commie judge let him out, knowing he'd done terrible things, let him out. And then he kills a guy the next day, an American citizen. Truly amazing. And last but not least, Senator Ron Johnson reveals that Dr. Fauci deleted his contact list from his iPhone to cover up text messages. You know, it's now a fact. Science is the mafia. This guy claimed science. He hid behind science. Everything was science. You had no right to question him. And all he is a Nazi mafia punk, Joseph Mengele combined with John Gotti, who was mass murdering Americans and didn't think anyone had a right to question him. Really quite amazing. Quite amazing. And now he acts like a mafia hood, right? He takes the fifth 111 times. Only mafia would do that. And more importantly, now he turns out he's erased his cell phone contact list, so you can't find out who he texted to. She couldn't say he texted Wayne Root, and the text says, I love killing people with my vaccine. And now you say, well, how do you find Wayne Root? I didn't know he's friends with Wayne Root. Wayne Root's name isn't there anymore in his cell phone. So you can't look up Wayne Root and go contact Wayne Root, and the FBI can't come to my doorstep and say, can we see your text to see what Fauci sent you, because he erased his. Now we want to look at yours. Well, they don't know who I am because he erased his contact list. This is the mafia. The FDA is the mafia. The CDC is the mafia. The NIH is the mafia. The WHO is the mafia. You're not allowed to question them. They've got omerta, a wall of silence around them. They'll take the fifth. They lie about everything. How do you know they're lying? Their lips are moving. They're the mafia. Don't listen to science ever again. Don't listen to experts ever again, because they're all liars. All right, Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, sponsor of this show, headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value. $15 billion with a B. At its peak, his company Pinnacle Energy grew about 100 to 1 for investors. Ultra Petroleum soared 1,000 to 1. A $10,000 investment turned into $13 million over 10 years. Would you be willing to wait 10 years to turn 10,000 into 13 million? Because pretty much everyone I know who's working class and middle class, generally any $10,000 they've ever invested, they've turned it into 5,000. Here you turn 10,000 into 13 million with his last big hit. But Lost Soldier could be even bigger than the Ultra Petroleum hit that turned 10,000 into 13 million. CEO Mark Bruner believes could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. It's a 40,000-acre territory in Wyoming. It took 40 years to piece together. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas. Yes, I said 6 trillion with a T. Management forecasting projects just the first 25 wells to produce 400 million cubic feet per day of natural gas. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, go to lostsoldier.com, fill out the contact form, and they will get right back to you, lostsoldier.com. And if it matters to you, I'm an investor. I made one of the biggest, if not the biggest investment of my life in Lost Soldier last year. And I'm planning to do another one this year because I really believe in this project. I really do. It's not my project. I'm not an investment advisor. This isn't investment advice. I'm just telling you what I personally am doing. I think it's my retirement plan. 2 things in my retirement plan: Lost Soldier Oil and Gas and gold. I'm buying lots and lots and lots of gold and gold mining stocks. I think gold's going to 15,000. Excited about it. All right, lostsoldier.com. They'll get right back to you, lostsoldier.com. When we get back, one of the world's great experts on gold is with us. Good timing. We'll be right back. I'm Wayne Root. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. Dan Montano is with me. He's the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, a biotech company developing medicines to treat Parkinson's, type 2 diabetes, and even heart disease. And now Zicha has a new breakthrough, exciting, to potentially reverse chronic pain. Dan, tell us about your breakthrough that could lessen or eliminate the pain for people suffering from neuropathy, back pain, or migraine headaches.
Very simple. As we've been dosing people for those other indications, they keep reporting to us the pain in their feet is gone. The pain in their back is gone. Their migraines have stopped. So as we started digging into it more over the last couple of months, we've discovered that nerve regeneration is something our molecule can treat. And we're starting to see people that we dose on Monday and Thursday, their back pain's gone. Their migraines have stopped. So we're now taking that to a medical research study here in Las Vegas.
Big one for me would be neuropathy foot pain, because I have several friends who have lived wonderful lives, successful, they're CEOs, and they could barely walk anymore because of neuropathy. What have you done for that?
Well, the people we've dosed for their diabetes have reported after a week or two that they don't have the pain anymore. So we're going to run with that and find out how much of that is true and how much of that we can repeat.
Amazing. What are your next steps?
Well, we're going to be getting a clearance here in Las Vegas to do a medical research study. We'll be doing it primarily for back pain, neuropathy, and headaches, migraine headaches primarily. We'll have that approval probably in 30 to 60 days and start dosing people here in Vegas.
And you're looking for test patients and investors, correct?
Same as with the type 2 diabetes. As you know, Wayne, you guys generate a lot of subjects for us to test, and you also produce a lot of investors for us. So we're looking for the same. Chronic back pain is everywhere. People have got it. It's serious, and we've been able to alleviate it. I'm excited. This could be the biggest thing around.
Dan, why is your approach to treating pain different?
Well, first of all, we don't camouflage the pain. We treat the nerve that is sick. We heal the nerves. With this white paper, which is on the website, curewar.com, is phenomenal. Everybody should be downloading that and reading this, like a science fiction novel on how your nerves regenerate. That's how we do it, on the nerves.
Dan Montano is the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, the website cure-war.com, looking for test subjects and investors, cure-war.com. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. The Root is on fire. Welcome back to the show. Got a great guest with us. He is one of the world's great authorities on gold and precious metals, gold, silver, and precious metals. Silver, of course, not too shabby either. He's had some great runs in the last year. Silvano De Genova is the owner of Tangible Investments. They're the sponsor of this show. Rootforgold.com is the website. Rootforgold.com. They grabbed my name to create a special website just for my fans. Rootforgold.com, so they'd know you were coming from this show. Silvano, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, my pleasure. Gold and silver stayed at certain levels for a while. I was on here, it's not my job to promote gold. I only talk about it because I happen to love it. I happen to believe in it. I happen to believe the world's awash in debt. The world's going to have World War III sooner rather than later. China's going to attack Taiwan sooner rather than later. The United States, I think, is headed for civil war. Lots of bad things are on the way, and so you got to own gold. That's just my simple philosophy, and it's never served me wrong because I haven't owned gold my whole life, but I've owned it for 26 years, since the year 2000, and gold has gone through the roof and has done much better than stocks during that time period, much better than real estate, much better than anything. So I believe that, it makes sense and it only pays off to own gold long term. I don't say anything about tomorrow when it was at 5,600. I did not believe it was going to go down to 4,000, and it did. But it's okay because most of my gold I bought at 300 and 400 and 1,000 and 2,000. So it didn't bother me when it was at 4,000. If you hold it long term, I think you always do okay with gold, as thousands of years have proved. Is that correct, Silvano?
Absolutely correct, Wayne. And I hope some of these things don't happen, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that they will.
Well, so let's talk about gold and silver. They were kind of trapped at a certain level for a while, and now they've broken out. It was a big last 2 weeks. Why is that? You said last time we spoke, 4,000 was the time to buy, not sell. And anyone who listened to you last time was right, and one of the people who listened to you was me. I've been buying gold. I thought 4,000 might be the last great opportunity to get in that cheap. I don't think it's ever going to be lower than that again. I think it's headed for 10,000, eventually 15,000 over the next 5 years, not the next 5 days, not the next year, but over the next 15 years. I think next 5, 10, 15 years, I think it'll go to 15,000. But it just broke out. Tell us why it broke out and where it's headed in the future.
Well, so the last time we were on, gold and silver were both very close to their lows. I mean, gold actually just broke under 4,000. I think 39.85 was the low sometime in mid-July. And silver was $55 and change at that point in time. And I said, hard to say whether it's going to go much lower, but it's certainly more likely to go higher. And now we're looking at more than 10% up on gold and on almost 18% up on silver. And a lot of factors here. First of all, it's pretty clear that the Fed is not going to raise rates. Right. When you raise rates, obviously the dollar is stronger, and people have an instrument where they're collecting a higher interest rate, so it does compete with gold. But that's very clear it's not going to happen. Will the Fed cut rates? It's certainly possible. We had a poor jobs report. We lost 23,000 jobs. So we kind of have a very interesting situation here. The CPI is still well above the Fed's target. We're looking at 3.4 versus 2%. So there is some inflation. But the economy is not strong. But back to the fundamentals. Our debt is exploding. We're still in the middle of a war with no clear end in sight. The other situations that you brought up, Taiwan, China, just I heard today they put on a crazy tariff on some sort of nuts. I forget which one it was, almonds, or in any case, we're certainly at a conflict with China, and all of these factors, long term, it's international instability, and the only protection is gold, silver, precious metals.
It's interesting because the China expert that I trust is Gordon Chang. He's been on my show many times, and he knows everything about China, the Chinese economy, the Chinese military. And Gordon Chang just said the other day, not on my show, we didn't have him on. I told Andrew to grab him on for the near future, but he said somewhere else in the media that China is broke, completely broke, and their economy's collapsing. Trump has really done it to him. Trump's done a great job. Trump stopped the oil from Venezuela going to China, then he stopped the oil from Iran going to China. China is collapsing. Their economy is collapsing. And he said China is a very dangerous, when they're put in a corner, very dangerous. And he thinks something really bad is coming. I don't know what that is. He didn't say. I don't know if it's another pandemic. I don't know if it's an invasion of Taiwan. I don't know if it's the start of World War III. But whatever it is, all of that I'm a gut instinct guy, sounds right to me. I would guess they're collapsing. I would guess their economy's dying. I would guess they're having a hard time getting oil. I would guess that because of that, they're a quartered Wolverine, and they're going to do something bad in response, just like I felt they were collapsing right before COVID, and Trump won the trade war with them, and the next thing you know, they released COVID to try and destroy our economy and defeat Trump. So I just think, put anything by China, something bad is coming, and if I had to guess, it's an invasion of Taiwan.
Well, I mean, they've been after that for quite a long time, and again, definitely not out of the realm of possibility. The interesting thing is that China single-handedly is probably the biggest buyer of gold out there, and right. And they're mostly buying in the form of gold mines, not just gold mines though, but all of the important metals. And they want to control those things because they know that's real hard money, and under any circumstances, that's kind of their to get out of jail free card. So the reality is, if China's buying gold, and buying gold mines, it's probably good advice. And we're still, I believe, even at 4,400, could it touch back at 4? I think it's possible. But, it's certainly feasible that even short term, this could be a good play. And obviously, long term, there's no question about it. Gold and silver. Remember, silver hit a high of over $100 an ounce. Right now, it's $65. It's almost half price. So the reality is both are great plays, not to mention even platinum is a very good play, which has a lot of other uses. Obviously, gold is real money. It's a fundamental currency. The other two are just precious metals that are important for many reasons. By the way, with the silver, solar, you can't make solar panels without silver. So the reality is these are important metals and probably a good thing to have within your portfolio.
Right, and the question becomes, is China buying it because they're savvy and they're shrewd and they're smart and they just think it's a good idea to own gold and silver and because they like hard money and real assets? Or is China buying it because, when you expect disaster and war and petulance and economic collapse in the future, then gold becomes even more important and more valuable, and China knows they're going to cause all those things. So, it's kind of like before the pandemic. If I was China and I knew I was releasing a germ that would destroy the United States economy and put millions out of work and put millions of small businesses out of business and defeat President Trump, guess what I would do? In advance of releasing the pandemic, I would buy gold. And so I'm sure anyone who owned gold before the pandemic made a lot of money. So I'm sure China made a lot of money. Now they're buying gold like crazy again. Is it because gold's a smart move and they're shrewd, or is it because they know they're about to do something terrible? You don't know which one it is, but I would say it's a little of both. That would be my guess. So in any case, I just interviewed President Trump. I don't know if you know that. On Monday, I interviewed Trump, and it turned into...
I was aware of it.
Okay, yeah, it turned into this giant media firestorm because, of course, I was on the interview pitching him hard on a national security emergency, and everybody picked up on that, and it became the biggest news story. And for the last 2 days, even this morning, every show on MSNBC and every show on CNN was talking about Wayne Allyn Root and President Trump and the national security emergency. Kind of interesting. But I said to Trump, look, inflation is high. Don't deny it's high. It is pretty bad for middle-class people. Just say it's Biden's fault. It's not your fault. We haven't had massive inflation under Donald Trump. It was massive inflation under Joe Biden. And the same inflation is still there. And under Trump, it went up a little bit more. So it's like people have a tendency to blame Trump because they go to the store and prices are high, or they go to the gas station and prices are high, and they are high. But it's Biden's fault they're high, not Trump's fault. Yeah, the Iran war has a little bit to do with it, and tariffs have a little bit to do with it. But mostly, it's Biden's inflation. And he should learn to say that. But it's out there, but it's not that bad anymore under Trump. And that's why I think they're going to eventually cut interest rates, maybe not in September. But I think by the end of the year, you'll start to see a series of cuts of interest rates because inflation is not roaring anymore, even with the war still going on.
Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. There's no question that most of the inflation is a carryover from the previous administration. The reality is, long term, we still have a basically an underground inflation, and it will continue, and that's going to fuel the price of gold and silver. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think you can ever get rid of inflation because we're a money printing machine. You okay there? You good? Just grab some water. Yeah, I just want to make sure Silvano's okay. We're a money printing machine nation. All we do is take in $1 and spend $1.50. That didn't change since Trump became president. All we do is spend like drunken sailors, and we spend a lot more than we bring in. So you're going to have to keep printing and printing and printing. So whether Trump's a brilliant economic guy or not, you're going to have inflation to some extent. You can't kill inflation as long as you're printing money, correct?
Absolutely. And that's really the bottom line. The trillions in debt and the major deficits. And the bottom line, it is the drunken sailor syndrome. We spend more than we take in. And no president has been able to fix that problem or even put a dent in it. And it's unclear, Trump had a lot of great ideas to solve part of the problem, cut waste and cut fraud and all these things.
Cut government employees.
Yeah. government employees. But, he's being fought tooth and nail. So, I mean, it's going to take an all-out effort to make even a dent in it.
I can tell you why it's never going to change, Silvano. I'm going to give you the actual truth here that the average person just doesn't have a clue. So we have 4 congressmen here in Nevada. We have 2 senators. And I could just tell you the whole thing they brag about that gets them reelected is how much bacon they brought home to their district and to their state. That's what gets you elected. You don't get elected by saying, I cut spending to Nevada. You get elected by saying, I got 3 new bridges, 4 new hospitals. I got you lots of money for schools. Governments are going broke, and I got an extra $8 billion for the state. That's what gets you elected, unfortunately, sadly. So everybody can claim, all the people claim, I'm against the debt, I'm going to cut the debt, I'm going to cut spending. But when you're a congressman, there's enormous pressure. Whoever gives you a check expects you to get them a government contract and get more money and more money and more money. If it's defense contractor, oil company, I don't care who it is. And the people want the new bridges and the new roads. So everybody elects you based on you increasing spending and bringing home the bacon to your district. And when you add up 425 senators and congressmen, et cetera, that are all doing the exact same thing, that's why the country is going broke. Everybody needs to spend more to get reelected.
No doubt about it. And that's why the deficit spending will never decrease and the debt will never get paid. And long term, gold is going to keep moving. Precious metals are going to keep moving. Hard assets are going to keep moving.
All right. Silvano de Genova is the owner of Tangible Investments. Root 4 Gold is the website. Root 4 Gold. They got that domain, obviously, just for my fans. Rootforgold.com, so they know they're coming from this show. They will roll out the red carpet, treat you like a VIP. When they know you're a Wayne Root fan, you can call them toll free at 888-330-4351. That's 888-330-4351. Or go to rootforgold.com if you're in the car right now. A lot easier to remember. Rootforgold.com. Because that's what I do all day. I root for gold. It's like my website, Root for America. I'm rooting for America, and I'm rooting for gold because I own a lot of it, Silvano. So I know you do too. I want gold to go through the roof. So rootforgold.com, 888-330-4351. Always great to have an expert on who understands what's going on with the market, and gold is headed straight up long term. Thank you, Silvano.
Thank you.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root, that's it for tonight's show. Podcast is over. Remember, in 1 hour, we start at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, America Speaks, the show that President Trump sat in for an interview just 2 days ago. And we will take your calls, 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-ROOT, which is 800-347-7668. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. Have a great night. Remember, you can leave a voicemail 24 hours a day, by the way, like right now. If you don't feel like waiting an hour to talk to me live on the air, just leave a voicemail, 800-347-ROOT. And we will speak to you in 1 hour on America Speaks. God bless. Bye-bye. All right, one of my favorite guests ever, Allyn Pariser's with us, an advocate for GreatPatriotStore.com. He's been a customer for 36 years, almost 4 decades. My wife and I, Cindy, do much of our monthly shopping now at GreatPatriotStore.com. It's an alternative to wokeness. It's run by pro-American conservatives. USA Today voted it one of the best stores in America in 2025. And with all these communists taking over, Allyn Pariser, New York, Seattle, Chicago, promising cheap government groceries or free, you need to buy American. Tell us why.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of our competitors have completely lost it. They've gone totally woke over the years, but our founding axiom is really very simple. For 41 years, we've been focused on manufacturing exceptional products at reasonable prices, made by Americans, here in America, for Americans. And we've expanded. We have manufacturing plants across the United States, distribution plants across the United States. And not only can Americans get the best quality, the best price from Great Patriot Store, in most cases, we can deliver to your front door even faster than Amazon.
So prices are high everywhere. Procter & Gamble and Amazon are considering price increases. How do the prices at Great Patriot Store compare to national brands?
Well, we've got hundreds of products, Wayne, but if you just take a look at one like our laundry detergent, we make it, it's patented, and it's literally almost fractions, almost half the price of our competitors, and you get 96 loads of wash. It's the best value. There's no toxic chemicals in any of our products whatsoever. And if you're looking to lose some of those holiday pounds, you don't need the shots with the LPG-1 drugs. We have something called berberine. Nature's Ozempic is what people are calling it. It's legit, it works, and we've got it at a better price than any of our competitors.
All right, we've got just seconds to go, so be quick. I love your beef. I eat your sirloin and your New York steak all the time. It's kind of breakfast and lunch for me all the time. Why is your beef superior?
Made in America, never, ever any hormones, ever any antibiotics, no mRNA. It's all prime. It's the best quality that you can find at the best price, free shipping, and it's the best beef on the planet.
All right, to get your free gift, that's right, a free gift, purchase the beef and other great American products. You got to be a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com, fill out the form. One of their conservative team members will contact you right away. GreatPatriotStore.com. Happy New Year. Thank you, Allyn.
Thank you, Wayne. God bless.